History often feels like it's shaped by grand events, wars, revolutions, and powerful leaders. But sometimes, the entire world pivots on a single, small decision. A moment that looked insignificant at the time. A choice made in seconds, without any fanfare. The world you're living in right now, the phone in your hand. The internet connecting us. The very fabric of modern technology exists because of one such decision. And it's a story almost nobody talks about. Let's rewind to the early 1970s. Computers weren't personal devices. They were colossal machines that filled entire rooms. Only governments, huge corporations, and top universities could afford them and software. It wasn't a product you bought in a box. It was something shared freely among researchers and academics. There were no licenses, no concepts of ownership, and certainly no profit to be made. It was a world of open, collaborative creation. Then, something changed. A giant American company named AT&T, which owned the legendary Bell Labs, created a revolutionary new operating system. It was powerful, elegant, and incredibly flexible. They called it UNIX, and this is where our story takes a sharp turn, hinging on one small, almost accidental, decision. Because of complex legal restrictions at the time, AT&T was actually prohibited from entering the computer business and selling software commercially. They had this incredible creation, UNIX, but their hands were tied. So, instead of locking it away in a vault, hidden behind patents or corporate secrecy, they made a simple choice. They decided to share UNIX's source code with universities for a tiny administrative fee. It wasn't a grand gesture. It was more of a legal workaround. No one thought much of it. It was just a practical solution to a strange problem. But one of the places that received a copy of that source code was the University of California, Berkeley. And there, something magical happened. Students and researchers didn't just use UNIX, they started to play with it. They took it apart, tinkered with the code, improved it, and added new features. And, crucially, they shared their improvements freely with others, continuing the academic spirit of open collaboration. That single decision by AT&T to share instead of control had quietly lit a fire. A fire that would soon spread across the entire world. From the halls of Berkeley came something called BSD, the Berkeley Software Distribution, a version of UNIX that was even more powerful and open. This wasn't just about code. It was about a philosophy, a way of thinking that champions simple tools that do one thing well, open standards that everyone can build upon, and the power of collaboration over centralized control. This philosophy became the bedrock of the open source movement. Years later, a young Finnish student named Linus Torvalds, inspired by these very ideas and the principles of UNIX, decided to build his own operating system kernel as a hobby project. That project became Linux, and Linux, built on that foundation of sharing and collaboration, went on to power the modern world. Think about it. The Android smartphone in your pocket? It runs on Linux. The vast server farms that run Google, Amazon, and Facebook? Almost all Linux. The International Space Station. The world's most powerful supercomputers. The stock markets that drive the global economy. Linux is the invisible engine behind them all. Even Apple's macOS and iOS, while not Linux, have their roots deep in the same UNIX family tree that started at Bell Labs and flourished at Berkeley. All of it, every last bit of this technological revolution can be traced back to that one small, almost forgotten decision. Let's just share this. Now, take a moment and imagine a different world. What if AT&T hadn't been under those legal restrictions? What if they had locked UNIX away, treating it as a corporate secret to be guarded at all costs? The ripple effect would have been immense. Without that open collaboration, there would be no BSD UNIX. Without BSD and its philosophy, there would be no inspiration for Linux. Without Linux, there would be no Android. The evolution of software would have been slower, more fragmented, and far more expensive. The internet, as we know it, an open platform for innovation, might never have emerged. A few giant corporations would control all the digital building blocks, stifling creativity and competition. The digital world wouldn't just look different. It would feel different. More closed, more controlled, less free. That tiny legal workaround didn't just shape technology. It shaped the very nature of how we create and collaborate on a global scale. But this story isn't really about computers or operating systems. It's about the hidden power of our decisions, especially when we can't see the outcome. No one at AT&T sat in a boardroom and said, "Let's make a decision that will change the world in 50 years. No one at Barclay thought they were starting a global revolution. They were just solving immediate problems with the tools and ethics they had. They chose openness over control. They chose sharing over strict ownership. In a way, they chose progress over immediate profit. Small decisions rarely look powerful in the moment. They're quiet, they're subtle, and their true impact is often invisible for years. But they compound. Like a tiny seed that grows into a massive tree, a small choice can set in motion a chain of events with unimaginable consequences. The world you live in today, the apps you use to connect with friends, the platforms you use to learn, the entire digital infrastructure you rely on exists because of one small decision made decades ago by people who had no idea what they were setting in motion. History doesn't always turn on loud, dramatic moments. Sometimes it pivots on a quiet yes, a simple choice to share. So, the next time you think your choices are too small to matter, that your actions are insignificant, remember the story of UNIX. Remember that one small decision, one act of openness, can change the world forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more.